So, you're juggling a full-time job, a side hustle, and maybe even some rental income on the side? It's becoming the new normal for millions of us. But what happens when all that amazing hard work leads to a massive tax headache? Well, don't you worry. In this session, brought to you by the experts at ProTax Accountant, we're going to break it all down and demystify how to handle UK taxes when you've got money coming in from all over the place.
I mean, does this sound like you? A main job, but also some freelance gigs? Or maybe you have a property that's bringing in a bit of extra cash. If so, you're definitely not alone. But let's be real, it can make tax season feel, well, pretty complicated. The good news, though, is that it absolutely doesn't have to be.
Whoa, okay, take a look at this number, £13.7 million. Any ideas what that might be? I'll give you a clue, it's not a lottery win. It's actually a number you want to stay as far away from as possible. That right there is the absolutely staggering amount HMRC handed out in penalties for late or just plain wrong tax returns in the last year alone. It is a huge and honestly a totally avoidable number. Our goal today is simple. We're going to give you the know-how to make sure not a single penny of that penalty pot has your name on it.
All right, first up, let's step into what we're calling the multi-income tax maze. We're going to start by really understanding why this feels so tricky in the first place. And here's a hint, it's not just you. The system itself has a few tripwires we need to watch out for.
Next, let's get into the nitty-gritty, your essentials for the 2025/26 tax year. Think of this as your rule book. Once you get these core ideas down, everything else starts to fall into place.
The first, and maybe the most important idea to get your head around, is your personal allowance. Just think of it like your tax-free Head Start. It's the amount of money you can earn every single year before you have to pay a single penny in income tax. And for the 2025/26 tax year, that magic number is £12,570. Anything you earn up to this point is all yours, tax-free. But, and this is a big but, just be aware that this allowance does start to shrink if your total income from all your sources goes over £100,000. Something to watch out for.
Now, once you go past that allowance, your total combined income gets taxed based on these bands. And this is so important. You have to add everything together. That side hustle you thought was just a little extra cash, it could be the very thing that pushes your total income from that 20% basic rate right up into the 40% higher rate. That is a massive jump, and it's a classic surprise for anyone juggling multiple incomes.
But here's a little bit of good news, a fantastic pro tip for you. HMRC gives you a £1,000 tax-free trading allowance for your self-employment or casual income. What does that mean? It means if your side hustle earns less than £1,000, you might not even have to declare it or pay any tax on it. It's a great little perk to know about.
Okay, so knowing the rules is great, but how do you actually put them into practice? In this next part, we're going to turn all that theory into a proper, practical action plan. This is how you track and report everything like a pro without, losing your mind.
To make this all feel a bit more real, let's follow a case study. Let's meet Sarah. She's a graphic designer in London, and her financial life is a perfect example of what we're talking about. She's got a full-time job, so she's on PAE, she's got freelance clients on the side, and she gets rental income from a little flat she owns. So the very first thing Sarah does, and the first thing you should do too, is just get organized. You need to list out and categorize every single place money is coming from. Is it your main job, where the tax is just taken care of? Is it freelance work, rental income, investment income? Each one is treated just a little bit differently by HMRC, so this step is absolutely non-negotiable. And this slide right here breaks down the basic logic of how your tax is actually worked out. It's a simple three-step process. Step 1, you add up all your income from every single source. Step 2, you take away your personal allowance and any other reliefs you can claim. And Step 3, you apply the right tax rates to what's left. That's it. Simple in theory, right? But the devil, as they say, is in the details.
Now, let's talk about a really common trap. Have you ever gotten your pay slip from a new job or a second job, looked at the tax deduction, and your jaw just dropped? Well, chances are you've been hit with something called emergency tax.
Yeah, this usually happens when your new employer just doesn't have the correct tax code for you yet. The payroll system kind of panics and assumes you've already used up your tax-free allowance somewhere else, so it taxes you on everything. It's super frustrating, but here's the key thing to remember. It is temporary, and you can always claim that overpaid tax back from HMRC. All right, now for the really exciting part. Getting your taxes right is one thing, but what about legally paying less tax?
Let's go from just being compliant to being smart. This section is all about optimization, and believe me, it's where you can make a huge difference to your bank balance.
Here are 3 of the most powerful ways to lower that tax bill. First, make sure you use every single allowance you can, like that £1,000 trading and property allowance we talked about. Second, if you're self-employed, you've got to claim every single allowable business expense. And third, making pension contributions is just an incredible tool for getting tax relief.
So let's check back in with Sarah. Before she started optimizing, her tax bill was a pretty painful £9,432. Ouch. But after she applied these strategies, claiming all her freelance expenses, using her allowances, and upping her pension, her bill dropped to just £6,286. That's a saving of over £3,000. And this shows you exactly where those savings came from. It wasn't magic. A big slice came from the tax relief on her pension. Another huge chunk was from all those business expenses she claimed for her freelance work. Things like software, marketing, you name it. See? Every little bit really does add up.
Okay, but let's be realistic. You can absolutely manage all of this yourself. But as your finances get a bit more complex, it can start to feel like a second job, right? It takes up time and energy you'd probably rather spend somewhere else. Sometimes, the absolute smartest move is to just get some expert help.
And that's the real question, isn't it? What is your time worth? Is the time you spend wrestling with tax rules and digging for receipts time that you could be using to earn more money or to grow your side hustle? Or, I don't know, just relax with your family?
So what does a professional actually do for you? Well, it really boils down to this. First, they make sure you pay the absolute legal minimum amount of tax by finding every single deduction and planning ahead. And second, they save you your most valuable assets, your time and your sanity.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. You're not just paying for a service. You're truly investing in that feeling of confidence, knowing that your finances are being handled properly and optimized just for you.
If you want to feel that peace of mind and make completely sure you're not overpaying a single penny, the team at Pro Tax Accountant is ready to help. You can reach them directly on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985689912, or just drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And hey, for more great tips just like the ones in this guide, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us, and here's to a much less stressful tax year.